Hello, Mom and Dad Meet World. So I want to talk about the M3 Ultra, and that is right here. This is actually on the desktop right now. This is what I've got going on in the background, and that is actually powering these two Apple Thunderbolt displays. That is what we got going on here. But this configuration, this configuration is not a configuration sent over by Apple. I don't know if it's a configuration you would get, but let's just say it is a very hobby level, an Apple enthusiast that say if they had like an Apple card with 12 months interest-free financing, maybe they would get. This isn't the super high-end spec version that Apple has been giving away for testing to the other YouTubers out there who've had it a little bit early. This was actually bought by us along with the other Mac Studio. So I'm bringing this up because there are higher configurations of the M3 Ultra Mac Studio. So the only thing we did, and I say only because it is quite an expensive upgrade, is we upgraded the CPU, the GPU, left the RAM, left the hard drive alone from the standard configuration. So 32 cores on the CPU, 24 of those being performance cores, and then 80 GPU cores on this. But I'm saying there's more in terms of performance because the higher you go, higher RAM, you get up to 512 gigs of RAM as opposed to the 96, and then you could also get up to 16 terabytes of storage on this. So if you had the highest RAM, highest storage, technically then you could get the very peak performance, but we did not on this particular model right here. And I only bring that up because the figures that you're going to see are actually very, very good. And we're comparing this to the M4 Max Mac Studio. So the M4 Max Mac Studio, we did again upgrade the M4 Max to the unbinned CPU, unbinned GPU, so 16 total cores, 12 of those being performance cores, 40 GPU cores, and then with that upgrade right there, it also bumps up the RAM from 36 on the base to 48 gigs of RAM. But again, you can also go up to 128 gigabytes of RAM, and then for the hard drive, you can go all the way up to 8 terabyte from the 512 on the SSD. So let us get into the disk speed test with this. So both of them are going to be around 5,000 or so megabytes on the read speed. On the M4 Max, the write speed is around 4,000 megabytes per second, but the M3 Ultra goes up to about 6,000 megabytes per second for that Ultra, which is quite astonishing. Again, 512 gigs compared to 1 terabyte on the Ultra. Let us push this a little bit further. So we have our video here. This was just a test export video. Actually, this was our M4 Air first impressions video, and that video was 15 minutes and 53 seconds, so just shy of 16 minutes. And on the M4 Max, it took just a little over 3 minutes to export out. That is a very, very short time to export out that long a video, but oh my goodness, on the M3 Ultra, that took just a little over 2 minutes. So you've got those performance cores and they are just really kicking in, but also it's more than just the performance cores, it's actually the double encode, double decode on the encoders, and that is quite awesome with that time. And that's truly, I mean, just a little over 2 minutes for a 15-minute and 53-second video. Wow. And then we get into something that really, really taxes the computer itself. So on the M4 Pro, MacBook Pro that we have, it took a little over 2 minutes and 9 seconds just to do the stabilization, and I believe it was just about the same time for the M4 Max, except with the M4 Max, with that time, you are not hearing any of the fans. The computer is staying nice and cool to the touch. Same with the M3 Ultra, except with the M3 Ultra, you're getting a time of 1 minute and 17 seconds, just a little under 1 minute and 20 seconds to do that very same stabilization that the M4 Max took a little over 2 minutes to do. And again, you are absolutely not hearing any fans go on. The computer is cool to the touch, and that is just absolutely amazing, because I know that Sony's Catalyst Browse, to stabilize that video footage, that H.265 XAVC-HS video footage, it is very, very taxing on that computer. Again, on our MacBook Pro, it just wears down the battery life as we do this off the charge, and then it just, you hear the fans audibly, the computer just whirs up, and you can feel the heat emanating from the keyboard. So I just wanted to put all that into perspective. But the M3 Ultra, that actually is just laughably good at how amazing the performance is with that computer. So I will say that the M3 Ultra, there's nothing I personally do that can push this computer to anywhere near its limit, even though we are at the 96 gigabytes of RAM and then the 1 terabyte of storage. Those are the lowest end tiers you can get for that. Again, we did upgrade to the unbin version of the M3 Ultra with 32 total CPU cores, 80 GPU cores, but again, nothing we can throw at it, or nothing I can throw at it, will do anything to literally make this computer slow down. It is a beast, and it is a pricey beast, because again, it starts at just about $4,000. Same thing that if you were to get a 16-inch MacBook Pro with the M4 Max chip, you are talking about the same price in terms of like where they start, but you are getting just another level of performance. And again, because it is a desktop, you've got that heavy heatsink. That cooling is pretty much top notch. And again, when you put this on a load, you are absolutely not hearing it. You are not, the computer, you're not feeling any of it. It is just absolutely awesome. So what I will say, with all that being said, if you are looking, again, this is just my recommendation, if you are going to be looking for a computer that you want to get, that I think that is going to suit you, but it's just going to be one of those things where you probably will not be able to tax the computer. Will you wait a little bit longer than the M3 Ultra? Yes, but if you were to get like your own supercomputer, and depending on how you're paying for it, if you have Apple's card, you can get 12-month interest-free financing. If you want to, I'm not telling you to do that, but if you did want that splurge, but you didn't want to spend $4,000 or so on that 16-inch MacBook Pro, but you wanted that little bit of better cooling and that eked out that performance, so about that $2,500 configuration, I suggest getting that M4 Max, the unbin configuration, 48 gigs of RAM, 16 CPU cores, 40 GPU cores. So with getting that over like the M3 Ultra, you are getting the second generation of that 3nm process in terms of like that CPU, that system on a chip. It's their second iteration, as opposed to the M3 Ultra, that is their first iteration, where it's going to be just a tad little bit slower for the single core. But again, the M3 Ultra, where it really comes in handy, is having all those CPU cores, all those GPU cores, plus those extra encode and decode engines. That is just, everything is just working hand in hand. But again, that M4 Max you will absolutely be happy with, and even if you get like half that configuration, and it's up to you on whether or not you want to stick with the 512 gigs of storage. To me, the 512 gigs, because it is a desktop, I think you will absolutely be fine. If you want to hook up external storage, you 100% can do that. You get 4 Thunderbolt 5 ports on the back, USB-C up front. With the M3 Ultra, everything is just Thunderbolt 5 all around, so it's a total of 6 Thunderbolt ports, and it is just going to be pretty much awesome for anything you can throw at it now and in the future, and far off future for that matter. So that was just my 2 cents on the configuration you should get. RAM, again, it's going to be up to you. 48 gigs of memory, or if you want to bump all the way up to the 128 gigs of RAM. It's going to be up to you and your budget and what your workflow is, but the 48 gigs of RAM has not been a bottleneck for us. With our everyday computer that we use, our M4 Pro MacBook Pro, that has 24 gigs of RAM. These machines are just outstanding with the 48 and the 96. Again, whatever we throw at it, we absolutely can't compete against it, and they've just been absolutely phenomenal with what we've been doing. So I will say the very last thing, probably I should have said this at the very start. If time is money and you are getting paid, or even if you are not getting paid but time is money to you and you just don't want to wait, I have no problem waiting for that little bit extra. But if time is money and you want probably the very best you can get now without getting into like the Mac Pro territory where you've got expandable storage and then you've got extra PCIe ports, then the Mac Studio with the M3 Ultra chip, get that in the unbinned configuration, up to 512 gigs of RAM, up to 16 terabytes on the hard drive. It's going to be up to you. In pretty much sky's the limit, or sky is up to a $14,000 limit if you want to get that top end configuration. But again, I think the M4 Max is going to be just fine. And even if you don't get the M4 Max, you know what? Our daily driver for the actual desktop that we've used before, that M2 Mac Mini with 8 gigs of RAM, has just been absolutely just fine with us. This stabilized the clip in 1 minute and 17 seconds. That same 1 minute and 41 second clip takes over 7 minutes. But again, I don't hear on that M2 Mac Mini, I don't hear the fan. It doesn't heat up. And I think if you can wait, I think you will be absolutely just fine. So again, if you're an enthusiast, you don't want to wait, you've got the money to spend, M3 Ultra Mac Studio, and time is money to you, that's going to be the computer for you. But if you are an enthusiast, you want a very fast computer that is literally, and you can say literally, seconds behind whatever you may do. Again, anything else that you're doing, I can only speak for the stabilization, the video footage. That's what we do. And any office work, you're not even gonna break a sweat on this computer, or even an M4 MacBook Air or an M2 Mac Mini. It's not gonna do it. So yeah, anyways, I am rambling. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. This has been very eye-opening. The curiosity caught my eye in terms of the M3 Ultra Mac Studio and the M4 Max, but after running them, it just confirmed what I already knew. They are going to be, and they are, super fast computers. If you want to splurge away. My recommendation for the everyday people who want maybe that attainable supercomputer, M4 Max, get the configuration you like. I suggest spending just a little bit extra, get that unbinned configuration. You will not be unhappy, and you won't be ever second guessing yourself saying, what if? Take away the what if. So you enjoyed this video, like, share, comment, subscribe. It really helps out our channel. And until next time, thanks for watching. Bye for now.